Yes, well, you said it, the man himself, Robert Englund, also known as Freddy Krueger.
AKA Mr. Krueger to you, Alex.
Mr. Krueger to me. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
You're in town for Comiccon,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Before, we have to get to the character, the legendary, probably the scariest character. And if there's kids in the room, might see some images that that could be a little bit scary at this moment in the day. But what's it been like all these years to be the Freddy Krueger?
Well, you know, I was starring on a TV series when I did the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was preoccupied with a little taste, my sort of first bout of celebrity with that. And at some point, that show was canceled, and Nightmare on Elm Street began to take on an international life of its own, and I sort of just had to go with the flow. You really can't control it, and I think it was probably wise that I did, because I don't think I'd still be, you know, doing movies at my age if I hadn't kind of embraced the genre.
Of course. And were you a fan of horror movies as a kid? Is this something that's always driven you?
You know, it didn't drive me. I was quite the snob. I was the guy in the turtleneck, you know, and the corduroy jacket with the patches on the sleeve, and I was this Shakespearean actor from the theater, and I was never going to do television. And I began to do movies in the 70s, and at some point, at some point I remembered about 10, 12 years ago, I remembered what a fanboy I was as a child. And I remembered, you know, saving my allowance and going to the Saturday matinees with my friends and seeing Forbidden Planet and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea,
right,
the Disney Jules Verne version, and even some horror movies. And I actually was a fanboy. I idolized the Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney. I remember as a child having a coffee table book at my godfather's house and looking at all the pictures of the different makeups he had done. So I am a legitimate fanboy, but I'd sort of like buried that, you know, and I'd become this other kind of snobby actor for a while. And I think that maybe in the back of my mind, something clicked when Wes offered me Freddy.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to always, you know, the challenge of the makeup. And
it worked out as so fun. And you've been talking about yourself being a fanboy. Let's speak about the fans. You're here for Comic-Con this weekend. And what's it like to go to these events? Because, I mean, we have to say, people are very passionate that go see Comic-Con. And to see Freddy Krueger himself, it must be, you must have lived some pretty interesting encounters.
Well, the new phenomena is a lot of girls now, because there's always a girl that defeats Freddy in every one of the movies. You know, Freddy's vanquished by a beautiful young teenage girl in every sequel. Now the girls dress as Freddy. They wear the sweater as a mini skirt, and they wear like the opera hose, and they either wear stilettos or old clunky boots like mine.
Okay.
And they wear the hat, the fedora. Sometimes they put the press-on nails on, or they actually wear the glove. And it's sort of like they sort of co-opted the power of Freddy and taken it back for themselves. But it's very interesting to see, you know, an entire line of Freddy girls waiting for my autograph. You know?
Well, people love you, of course, but Freddy Krueger is one and your main character, but you have another movie coming out soon that...
yeah, I've been busy. I just had a premiere in London of the last showing, and I star in this film with Finn Jones from Game of Thrones, and a wonderful young actress named Emily Barrington, who's on the current season of 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, one of your gentlemen, Canadian.
That's right.
But yeah, and it's called The Last Showing, and I play the old projectionist who gets fired from his job, and he returns to serve popcorn in the concession stand, and he has his revenge at the midnight movie.
All right. Well, Robert Englund, good luck with this movie, of course, coming out soon. And thank you so much. Have a great time at Comic-Con. Everyone will be so happy to see you.